Hi, this is Jack Mize, and this is part one of the Local Guru Roadmap, which we're going to talk about understanding your prospects, understanding your customers. And when I say understand, I mean really getting inside the mind of the local consumer. Because, we are conditioned to what we think advertising should be. We've grown up and we've seen TV commercials and infomercials, and we've kind of emulate that without knowing why, the psychology behind why they do what they do. And really, if you are someone that watches infomercials or a lot of ads and you think, I just don't want to be that person, that's fine. You don't have to be, and I'm going to suggest that you not, because we're going to go a different route that really gives people the perception that you're the expert. And to do that, by understanding the local consumer, you're going to have a huge advantage. And it's really one of the most neglected and ignored parts of marketing. And it really shouldn't be, because the local consumer isn't something that we should have to guess about what they're thinking, because we are all local consumers on a weekly, daily, if not hourly basis. We are looking to purchase, to engage, to get a service or product in our local community. And what we need to do is kind of put our hats on as the local consumer and take off our hats as the business owner, as the marketer, and stop thinking about what we think consumers want, what we think will work with customers. We have to look at the way that we do business and the way that we find other businesses as local consumers. So sometimes it's a little bit hard to step out of that marketing frame of mind, or that business owner frame of mind, and just think about the way that you kind of put the mirror on yourself and really reflect on your behavior as a local consumer. And so when you think about it online, if you are a business and you provide a product or service that you can market online, but not necessarily you're able to fulfill it online. And what do I mean by that? That is really a local product or service. If you think about it, no matter how far technology advances, there's some things that we are just not going to be able to do online. We're not going to get our yard cut online. We're not going to do a lot of things that require local interaction. And even things that you can do online, a lot of times we don't, because it's not in our nature just yet. Things like purchasing real estate and buying automobiles, those are things that, even though they can be done online, we want to touch it, we want to feel it, we want to smell it. We need to be there when we make that kind of purchase. And if you think about it, if you bought a big screen TV in the last year, or a big monitor or something like that, chances are you did your research online, you checked prices online, you looked at reviews online. But the one thing that you probably didn't do online was hit the buy button. You got in your car, drove 20 minutes or however long it took to the local appliance store, electronics store, and you probably paid a little bit more than you could have gotten it online for. Why? Because we live in that microwave society. We want it now. And so you have to think about the local consumers. When people are ready to buy, one of the first things that you have to get out of your mind is that they're looking for a website. And I know you're thinking, well, this is all about online marketing. Certainly it's about websites. Well, think about it. When you are looking for a product or service, is a website the thing that you really feel that you need to get access to, or you want to find access to the solution to the problem that you're looking for? So we're going to talk about different ways when we get into the marketing what you do section that your compelling message doesn't necessarily have to be on your website. It can be a number of places. So when you think about the local consumer, when you're looking for something and you're ready to buy, chances are, even if that compelling message, or you find something that gives you what you want, whether it's on a business's website, or if it's on a Google local listing, or whether it's on a business listing like a merchant circle or some other ad, if the information is there and it speaks to you and it speaks to your problem and presents itself as the solution, do you necessarily have to dig around and go back to that website, or would you pick up the phone and call them to find out if they are indeed the solution to your problem. So you need to think about that local consumers aren't necessarily looking for a website. Now, what you have to think about is, how do local consumers look for businesses? And then, what are local consumers thinking when they're trying to decide who to do business with, or who to pick up that phone or visit their storefront to find out more information? That's where you really start digging in and start thinking unlike almost any of your competitors. So when you're looking for a business, first, there's obviously the social media, the Facebook, there's search engines, Google, typing in Google search. That's one way. That's primary searching online. But then you need to go beyond that and think about, what if it's a referral from a friend or family? What if somebody forwarded you an email or a coupon or something from a local business, right? The next thing you do is, you don't necessarily go looking for a local chiropractor, back pain. Now you are actually looking for that business by name because someone referred them. And you need to make sure that it's not just about keywords, and it's not just about being found for things like best Houston chiropractor, because that's one thing I have a real problem with. A lot of people are sold these bad terms to go after, and they say, hey, I got you the #1 on Google for best Houston chiropractor. But I want you to think about that. Have you ever looked for best your city anything when you're looking for a solution? Probably not. So we need to really think about and put our local consumer hats on and think like the local consumer. So local consumers, people that are ready to do business, they have a couple of things they're looking for. First, they want to find a phone number. They want to find out, how can I find out more? They want to find an address or a map. Where are you located? How far are you away from me? They want to find out, what are your hours of business? When can I do business with you? And then, only then, if you have a website, they may go dig around your website. So you need to get out of the frame of mind that your website is the end-all, be-all of your online marketing solution. All right. Now, the next thing you have to think about in the mind of the local consumer is, when they come onto your message, whether it's on a website, or whether it's a video or a landing page, anything, consumers that are ready to buy, that have a problem, they have 4 issues in their head. And these are questions that they want answers to, that they are strongly seeking answers to. But here's the irony. They're questions that they probably will never ask. They will probably never pick up the phone to ask. These are questions that they are going to determine the answers to by looking at your online presence. All right, so let's go through these 4 issues. First thing that goes through their head is, does this business understand my problem? I have a problem. First thing, is this business even in the realm? Do they understand my problem to be able to present a solution? And 2, is this business qualified to solve my problem? Even if they understand my problem, does it look like they are able to solve the problem? 3, my problem is kind of unique. Will this work for me? Will their solution work for me? Because everybody thinks that their situation is unique, their problem is unique, they have some twist to it. And then 4th, what is my risk to find out more? What is my risk to look further into this business's solution? Now let me go back a little bit and really clarify that a problem doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. If you're in the travel industry, someone's problem may be, I need to decide, what's the best cruise to go on? What's the best hotel or tour I can go through in Europe? So it may be a good problem, but it's still a problem. And those 4 issues that are going on in the local consumer's mind, if you don't address those on your online marketing, they are going to make up the answers themselves, and they may not be the right answers. Now, this is a very, very important part of this module, because it's one of the things that will take you head and shoulders above your competition if you simply address these issues. All right, I didn't say answer them. We don't want to answer all these questions. We don't want to give every possible scenario. We just want to address them. So how would you do that? Well, I use an example of a mortgage company. If you're a mortgage company and you have, one of your big products is a first-time home buyer loan, So a simple way to address these is when somebody comes to your website or they come to a video or any of your online marketing, to address these, it can simply say something to this effect. I'm John Smith, president of Acme Mortgage. If you're looking to buy your first home, you probably have a lot of questions. How much is the down payment? What kind of credit do I need to qualify? How long do I need to have been at my job? All right, now let's stop. What did we just do there? We addressed issue number one. Does this business understand my problem? Well, if they're a first-time home buyer and they land on that message, you've just established that, yes, you do understand the problem. And you've actually given examples of some questions that are probably going on in their mind. Now, I want you to really think about this and pay attention. You didn't answer those questions. You just addressed them to let them know that, yes, you do understand. And what else have you done? You've created the curiosity to pull them in, to call you, to find the answers to those questions. But you've addressed them to let them know you do understand my problem. Now, the next section you can do is, here at Acme Mortgage, we've helped hundreds of local families purchase their first home, and we're confident we can help you. Now, what did we just do there? We made, and make sure it's a factual statement, we've helped hundreds of families get their first home, and we're confident we can help you. Now, remember the second issue? Are they qualified to solve my problem? Well, what you just did is you addressed that. You didn't go deep into a resume. You didn't go through this long list of credentials. You addressed it. Remember, that's all we want to do is just address it. Okay, so the next one is, well, my situation is unique. Will they be able to solve my problem? Will this work for me? Will this solution solve my problem? And you're certainly not going to be able to address everybody's unique situation, but what you do is you address that you have dealt with unique situations. And you can bring up a few more issues, even if you've had bruised credit, even if you have a unique job history. We're confident that we can help. So what you did was you addressed. You didn't answer, you addressed them, letting them understand that you understand what their problem is, and that they may have a unique situation. And then finally, I'd like to invite you to get free information, or I'd like to invite you to get a free, our free report, our free guide on first-time homebuyer loans by simply calling us at XXX or downloading a report, filling out your information and downloading your report. No obligation, and see exactly how Acme Mortgage can help you. Now, what did you just do there? Remember, what is my risk to find out more? You've eliminated that risk. You haven't left it up for them to guess that, well, if I call them or I fill out anything, is that going to obligate me? Am I going to be on the hook for anything? So what you've just done with those 4 steps, those 4 questions, is by addressing them. Remember, we're not answering them. You don't have to go deep, but by addressing them, you have just given that local consumer a feeling that this is a company that I need to talk with. Even if they have a list of 5 others that they found on search engines or they've been referred to, you just spoke to them and positioned yourself as the educator and potential advocate for their success. And we'll talk more about that in a later section. So remember those 4 issues, right? Do you understand my problem? Number 2, are you qualified to solve my problem? Number 3, I think my situation is unique. Will this work for me? And 4, what is my risk to find out more? If you apply those 4, you look at your marketing and you make sure that you address those 4 issues, you are going to have very purposeful marketing, again, that takes you leaps and bounds beyond what your competition is doing. And even when you're talking with a local marketing consultant or SEO or website designer, make sure they understand that your marketing needs to address those. All right? So that right there is going to take you much further along the way to having a consumer, a prospect, pick you over your competition, and at the very least, make sure that you are one of the ones that they are investigating further because you have spoken to them probably in a way that none of the competition has. And you got to speak with them and you've got to address questions that they're never going to pick up the phone and ask, that they're only going to try and determine those answers themselves, which oftentimes is very, very wrong. So think about the local consumer. When you're thinking about how they think about the way that you think. Think about the way that you look for businesses. The local consumer is the mobile consumer now. If you think about it, more searches are being done on cell phones and tablets. Not even searches, but interaction with businesses, finding maps. All of that stuff is done on a mobile device. So think about your marketing in what I call the fat finger friendly way that makes sure that it's easy to do business with you in this mobile society as well. So that's the first part of going through and understanding the mind of the local consumer, is to start putting that local consumer hat on when you're thinking about your marketing. Think about the way that you look for businesses, not just when you search, but also what you do after the fact when somebody refers you to a business. You know, make sure that you understand the way that you look at that business when you're doing due diligence. And we'll go through that as we talk about the marketing, what you do, and the marketing, who you are sections. Okay, but the main thing is understand those 4 issues and know that those are ones that you need to tackle when understanding your customer. So this has been the Understanding Your Customer module. If you liked what you heard and you want to share this out, feel free to click the share buttons, let folks know about the Local Guru Roadmap, and I think that you'll find that you are closer and closer to creating your online X Factor.